I've never really spoken about why I do what I do. I wanted to share it because at the moment VR is not doing very well, and I kind of thought it was a good time to get a conversation going like this, because I do want to read all your comments, is how you got into VR and what it meant to you. Back in 2016, Sony held an in-person event. That's right, they used to do stuff like that and attend events with VR. I tried it, I tried the PSVR, and it kind of felt like the next big thing for gaming for me, and that has actually never changed since 2016. I was a massive gamer before that. Like, I've been playing computer games all my life. I've got lots of them back here. I'm a massive gaming fan. But there was a point in my life, I had kids, I was working a lot, and I still spent my evenings sometimes playing like Halo, Gears of War, Call of Duty, things like that online. I was getting less and less excited. I don't know. I kind of just felt this is what happens when you get older. You're not really interested in gaming anymore. You move on. How many of your dads play games, and I kind of felt this was the natural transition that was happening in my life. So I tried PSVR, and it felt like the most incredible thing I'd ever tried, literally, in gaming. I want to put that back to the times when like arcade machines were amazing, and you saw the next generation, you saw amazing graphics, high frame rates, things you couldn't get at home. And obviously eventually that plateaued for gaming consoles, hence arcades aren't really a big thing anymore. Trying VR for the first time was the wow factor. The reason I started uploading to YouTube or live streaming, I didn't really care for doing videos, to be honest. I liked the back and forth conversation of live streaming, was because in real life, I had no one who was invested in it. No one seemed to really care. And I was going on like PSVR Frank's channel, PSVR Parole, Mike VR Oasis, Nathy, and there was clearly an audience, and I was part of that audience. That's where engagement was happening. So for me personally, what I did was I used to just live stream Bridge Crew, Star Trek Bridge Crew, probably the game I've spent most amount of time in my life, because it's a very social game. You all have your roles and you all have things to do. One day I was streaming Doom VFR. This is the point, right? This is the point where everything changed. I was streaming Doom VFR, and IGN, and they've now edited this review, reviewed it incorrectly. They basically said the game, and obviously that's a big IP for VR, Doom. They basically reviewed it to say there was no smooth locomotion and a few other things. A few other incorrect things where they just didn't, whoever was reviewing it didn't bother going to the options and checking things out.
Scooting does make me wish I could enable smooth movement in the menus though. Just like you can turn on smooth turning if you don't like the incremental turnings.
So anyway, this particular evening the game's come out, I've bought it, I've come home from work, I'm like, bang, had dinner, right, I'm going to stream. And obviously I've got the right controls on, so I'm using smooth locomotion, and suddenly I went from my regular, like, I don't know, 10 to 12 viewers, used to hang out with me most evenings of the week, to over 100. And everyone is saying, how are you doing this? How are you moving around in this game? Was it a mod, which you clearly can't mod PSVR games? And I just kept re-explaining, what I did, what I changed, showing the options. When I finished that stream, I felt like I can make a difference, and I can start a conversation. I can help people. And that was it. Suddenly I thought, right, I'm going to start making videos. I'm going to start taking this seriously. Ever since then, I think VR is inevitable, even though things feel down sometimes. We feel like the small crowd. I do think that eventually something will happen in VR, and I believe Meta are really pushing it. They're really trying to make it happen. But until big players as well, like Nintendo, for example, which with their IPs and their ability to basically tap into all age ranges with one game, that's when I think the real uprising will happen. And obviously as the technology gets better, it will get cheaper, and the quality of what people experience will improve. And I think that's where, for example, with Quest 3, some people see that as a console. And it is a console, really, it's a standalone console, priced at $500. And for most people out there, if they don't get to try VR, they're thinking this thing is like the same price as a PS5, which has got so many great games on it. And I think that's where the problem happens. People don't get to try VR, so they don't know how amazing it is. And that's where we got to face facts, that until the average gamer, general gamers, or users want to get into VR, it's always going to be stuck in a hardcore audience area. And I think that's why MetaQuest are going for mixed reality and all these other different things they're trying to do. PSVR hopefully has still got 2 big titles coming along that they're developing. And I really want to see that system take off, because for me, PSVR is the only headset that was already gaming anyway. It's a PlayStation product. So really that is the headset that had the ability to reach the core audience that we needed. But unfortunately, I think price and lack of IPs that they know. I mean, sure, Gran Turismo, Horizon, they're on there, but they obviously want more. You know, they want Spider-Man, they want God of War, they want Last of Us. They want a lot more IPs to understand that investment for their headset is worth the money because they haven't tried it. That's the whole thing. That's what it's all about. And that's why that in-person demo at London was so important, because if I'd never took the day off work and went to that, I might not be doing this now. So there it is. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'd love to know your story. How did you get into VR? What did you first try? And how do you feel about it now? And how do you feel about it going forward? As always, I appreciate anyone who drops a like and subscribes to the channel. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll probably upload something tomorrow. Take care.